Today, I want to remind you of a powerful truth: you don't need anyone to complete you. Everything you seek, every bit of strength, love, and validation is already within you. It's time to step into your own power, to understand that you are whole, just as you are. You are enough. So often we look outside ourselves for love and acceptance. We believe that someone else can give us the missing piece of our happiness. But the truth is, no one can give you what you must first give yourself. If you want love, begin by loving yourself deeply. If you seek validation, start by recognizing your own worth. You have everything inside of you to create the life you desire. Let go of the need for approval from others. People will come and go in your life, but you will always be with yourself. Why not nurture that relationship first? Begin today by speaking kindly to yourself. Affirm the truth of who you are. I am worthy, I am whole, and I am enough. As you embrace these truths, you will realize that external validation isn't necessary because you already hold the key to your happiness. You are whole, complete, and enough just as you are. This is not something you need to strive for or achieve. It's a truth that exists within you already. Yet, in the journey of life, it's easy to forget this. We are often taught from a young age that our happiness, our sense of worth, and our completeness lie outside of us, in the approval of others, in the relationships we build, or in the material successes we accumulate. However, none of these things truly define who we are at the core. The idea that someone or something else can make us whole is a misconception that many of us carry, but the reality is that self-completeness is a birthright we each possess. From the moment you were born, you came into this world with everything you needed to thrive, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. You didn't arrive lacking or incomplete. The belief that you must find someone to complete you is an illusion that can lead to a life of endless searching, disappointment, and dependency. It's a distraction from the true essence of who you are. Society conditions us to seek validation from external sources. We are often led to believe that our worth is measured by our relationships, status, achievements, or how others perceive us. But this external pursuit can leave us feeling empty because it causes us to overlook the one relationship that matters most, the relationship with ourselves. It's essential to understand that your value does not depend on what others think of you, nor is it tied to external accomplishments. Your worth is inherent and immutable, something that can never be taken away. Self-completeness is the realization that you are not missing any part of yourself. When you look within, you find that the love, strength, and wisdom you seek are already there. These qualities have always been with you, waiting for you to recognize them. No one else can give you what you already have. By turning your focus inward and cultivating a sense of self-love and self-appreciation, you unlock the fullness of your being. This is where true contentment arises, not from what you accumulate in the outer world, but from what you discover within. Many of us fall into the trap of seeking relationships or external validation to feel complete. We believe that if we just find the right partner or achieve the next goal, we'll finally feel whole. But this mindset only reinforces the false notion that we are lacking. It places our sense of fulfillment in the hands of something or someone else, which is always temporary and uncertain. True fulfillment, on the other hand, comes from realizing that we are already enough. It is the understanding that no relationship, success, or approval from others can add or subtract from our inherent value. When you embrace your self-completeness, you free yourself from the need for others to validate or define you. You stop looking for someone to complete you because you know that no one can fulfill that role. Instead, relationships become an opportunity to share your wholeness with another person. They become a space for mutual growth and connection, rather than a way to fill an emotional void. This shift in perspective allows you to approach relationships from a place of love rather than need, which in turn makes your connections more authentic and fulfilling. Self-completeness also empowers you to take control of your own happiness. When you rely on external circumstances or people to make you happy, you give away your power. But when you realize that happiness is something that arises from within, you reclaim that power. You become responsible for your own joy, peace, and well-being, independent of what is happening around you. This doesn't mean you won't experience challenges or difficult emotions, but it means you have the inner resources to navigate them without feeling like something is missing from your life. Learning to feel complete within yourself is a practice. It starts with self-awareness, recognizing the moments when you feel inadequate or incomplete and gently reminding yourself that these feelings are not based in truth. Affirming your worth on a daily basis through positive self-talk and nurturing self-care helps reinforce this sense of wholeness. Surrounding yourself with supportive environments and people who uplift you can also strengthen your connection to your inner completeness. It's important to remember that self-completeness doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting others. It's about knowing that you are enough, whether you are alone or in a relationship, whether you succeed or stumble. It's about recognizing that nothing outside of you defines your worth or adds to your value. You are already whole, and that wholeness is the foundation from which you can build a life filled with love, purpose, and joy. The journey to realizing your self-completeness is not always linear. There may be moments of doubt, but each time you return to the truth of your own worth, you strengthen your connection to it. You don't need anyone else to complete you because you are already complete. All the love, wisdom, and peace you seek are within you. You are enough. Loving yourself first is the foundation for living a life of true fulfillment and peace. It is about recognizing your worth, embracing who you are, and prioritizing your own well-being. This isn't selfishness or vanity. It's an essential act of self-respect and self-care. When you love yourself, you establish a solid foundation from which all other aspects of your life can grow and flourish. Without self-love, it's easy to fall into patterns of seeking approval from others, neglecting your own needs, and losing touch with the essence of who you truly are. Loving yourself begins with acceptance. Acceptance of who you are right now in this moment without judgment. This means letting go of the idea that you need to be perfect or meet certain standards before you are worthy of love. You are deserving of love simply because you exist. Embracing your flaws, mistakes, and imperfections is part of this process. Rather than criticizing yourself for what you perceive as shortcomings, choose to see them as part of your unique human experience. Self-love invites you to honor all parts of yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, your successes and your failures. One of the most profound ways to practice self-love is through how you speak to yourself. Often we are our own harshest critics. The words we use internally can either build us up or tear us down. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you're failing, or that you're unworthy, those thoughts will shape your reality. But if you consciously choose to speak to yourself with kindness, compassion, and encouragement, you begin to transform the way you see yourself. Affirmations can be a powerful tool in this practice. Simple phrases like "I am worthy," "I am enough," or "I love and accept myself as I am" can help shift your mindset towards self-love. Loving yourself first also means setting boundaries. Boundaries are essential for protecting your energy, your time, and your emotional well-being. When you love yourself, you understand that it's okay to say no to things that do not serve you or align with your values. You don't have to constantly please others at the expense of your own happiness. In fact, when you learn to say no, you are honoring yourself and creating space for the things that truly matter. Establishing boundaries allows you to show up fully in the areas of your life that are important to you without feeling drained or overwhelmed. Self-love is also about taking care of your physical and emotional needs. This means listening to your body and giving it what it needs: rest, nourishment, movement, and care. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and consideration that you would offer a loved one. When you prioritize your well-being, you are sending a powerful message to yourself that you are worth taking care of. This extends to your emotional health as well. It's important to check in with yourself regularly, to acknowledge your feelings without judgment, and to seek support when needed. Many people find it challenging to love themselves because they have been conditioned to believe that they are only worthy if they meet certain expectations or achievements. Society often promotes the idea that success, beauty, or external validation are the markers of worth. But the truth is, your value is not determined by any of these things. Loving yourself means understanding that your worth is intrinsic. It is not tied to your achievements, appearance, or what others think of you. It is something that you carry within you at all times. When you love yourself, you free yourself from the need for external validation. You no longer rely on others to make you feel whole or worthy because you know that you already are. This doesn't mean that relationships aren't important, but it shifts the focus from seeking love and approval from others to knowing that you are complete as you are. When you love yourself first, your relationships become healthier and more fulfilling because they are built on mutual respect and appreciation rather than on the need to fill a void. Self-love also fosters resilience. Life is full of challenges and setbacks, but when you love yourself, you develop a sense of inner strength that helps you navigate difficult times. You become more forgiving of yourself when things don't go as planned, and you are able to bounce back with greater ease. Loving yourself doesn't mean that you won't face struggles or experience pain, but it gives you the tools to handle those moments with grace and compassion. Finally, loving yourself first opens the door to true happiness. When you cultivate self-love, you stop chasing after external sources of joy and instead create happiness from within. You begin to appreciate the present moment, to find joy in the simple things, and to feel contentment that isn't dependent on outside circumstances. This inner peace radiates outward, influencing every area of your life. It allows you to live authentically, to pursue your passions, and to experience deeper, more meaningful connections with others. In loving yourself first, you unlock the potential for a life of greater fulfillment, joy, and peace. It's an ongoing journey, one that requires patience and practice, but the rewards are profound. By loving yourself, you create a solid foundation from which all other love and success can grow. You are worthy of that love simply because you are. Releasing the need for external validation is one of the most liberating steps you can take toward personal freedom and self-empowerment. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded with opinions, judgments, and expectations from others. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to how others perceive us. We seek approval from family, friends, teachers, colleagues, and even strangers, hoping that their praise and validation will somehow confirm our value. But this pursuit can become a trap, a never-ending cycle of striving for acceptance that ultimately leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled. At its core, external validation is the belief that someone else's opinion of you is more important than your own. It's a reliance on outside sources, whether it's people's approval, social media likes, or society standards to determine your self-worth. However, the truth is that no one else has the power to define your value. You are the only one who truly knows yourself, your intentions, your experiences, and your dreams. When you release the need for external validation, you reclaim the ability to define yourself and live according to your own truth. Seeking approval from others is often rooted in a desire to be accepted, loved, and valued. These are natural human needs, but the problem arises when we look outside ourselves to fulfill them. When we place our self-worth in the hands of others, we give away our power. We become dependent on their feedback, whether positive or negative, to feel good about ourselves. This creates a fragile sense of self, one that is easily shattered by criticism, rejection, or a lack of acknowledgement. Releasing external validation doesn't mean that you ignore the opinions of others or shut yourself off from feedback. It means shifting your focus from seeking approval to cultivating self-acceptance. It's about learning to validate yourself first, so that your sense of worth is not contingent on what others think. When you value yourself from within, external opinions no longer have the same control over your emotions or self-esteem. You become more grounded in who you are, and your confidence comes from an internal source rather than the fluctuating judgments of others. The journey to releasing external validation begins with self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect on how much of your behavior, decisions, or emotions are influenced by what others might think. Do you make choices based on your own desires and values, or are you trying to fit into someone else's expectations? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking free from them. By acknowledging the areas in your life where you are seeking validation, you can start to shift your focus inward and make choices that are aligned with your true self. Another key aspect of releasing external validation is building a strong sense of self-worth. Self-worth is the understanding that you are valuable and deserving of love, respect, and kindness simply because you exist. It's not tied to your achievements, appearance, or other external factors. When you cultivate self-worth, you no longer need others to validate your existence because you already know that you are enough. This inner knowing allows you to stand strong in your authenticity, regardless of how others perceive you. A helpful practice in releasing external validation is learning to embrace vulnerability. Often we seek validation because we are afraid of being judged or rejected. We put up a facade, trying to appear perfect or to meet the expectations of others in order to avoid criticism. But true freedom comes when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to show up as you are without the need for approval. Embracing vulnerability means being willing to take risks, to express your true feelings, and to live authentically, even if it means facing disapproval or more misunderstanding. When you let go of the fear of judgment, you open yourself up to deeper connections and a more genuine way of living. It's also important to recognize that external validation is often fleeting and inconsistent. People's opinions change, and their judgments are influenced by their own experiences, biases, and perceptions, which are not a reflection of your true worth. What someone thinks of you today may be completely different tomorrow. Chasing after external validation can lead to constant anxiety and stress because you are relying on something that is inherently unstable. Instead of seeking approval from others, focus on building a sense of internal stability, one that is based on self-love, self-compassion, and self-respect. When you release the need for external validation, you free yourself to live in alignment with your own values and desires. You are no longer held back by the fear of what others might think, and you gain the courage to follow your own path. This doesn't mean that you won't face criticism or that everyone will understand your choices, but it means that you no longer need their approval to feel good about yourself. You are able to stand tall in your authenticity, knowing that your worth comes from within, not from external sources. Ultimately, releasing external validation allows you to experience a deeper sense of peace and freedom. You stop chasing after the approval of others and instead turn inward to find your own sense of worth. This shift not only empowers you, but also enriches your relationships as you no longer rely on others to make you feel whole. By loving and accepting yourself first, you create a solid foundation for a life of authenticity, joy, and fulfillment. Affirming your self-worth is a powerful act of self-recognition and self-love. It's a way to honor the value you inherently hold, regardless of external circumstances, opinions, or achievements. At its core, affirming your self-worth is about accepting and appreciating yourself fully, just as you are. It means recognizing that you are enough, worthy of love, respect, and kindness, not because of what you do or what you've accomplished, but simply because you exist. This understanding becomes the foundation upon which you build confidence, resilience, and a life of fulfillment. One of the most important steps in affirming your self-worth is to acknowledge your intrinsic value. Many of us grow up in environments that encourage us to tie our self-worth to external achievements, such as success in school, work, or relationships. While accomplishments can bring a sense of pride and fulfillment, they do not define who you are. You are valuable regardless of your achievements or setbacks. Affirming your self-worth means letting go of the need to constantly prove yourself to others or to seek external validation. Instead, it's about cultivating an inner knowing that you are worthy just as you are. A powerful way to affirm your self-worth is by consciously changing your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a profound impact on how you feel about yourself. If you are constantly critical of yourself, telling yourself that you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough, you reinforce a narrative of unworthiness. However, if you choose to speak to yourself with kindness, compassion, and encouragement, you begin to shift that narrative. Affirmations are a simple yet effective tool for changing your self-talk. Statements like, I am enough, I deserve love and respect, or I honor my worth can help rewire your thinking and instill a deeper sense of self-worth. Another essential aspect of affirming your self-worth is setting healthy boundaries. When you know your worth, you recognize that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable and deserve protection. Boundaries allow you to say no to things that drain you, disrespect you, or don't align with your values. They are a form of self-respect and self-care. When you set boundaries, you send a clear message to yourself and others that you value yourself enough to prioritize your needs. This, in turn, strengthens your sense of self-worth because you are acting in alignment with your own best interests. It's also important to practice self-compassion when affirming your self-worth. Self-compassion means being gentle with yourself, especially during difficult times or when you make mistakes. Too often, we are quick to judge ourselves harshly when things don't go as planned or when we fall short of our expectations. But mistakes and setbacks are a natural part of life, and they do not diminish your worth. When you treat yourself with compassion, you acknowledge that you are human and that imperfections do not define your value. Self-compassion allows you to approach yourself with understanding and forgiveness rather than criticism and blame. Affirming your self-worth also involves recognizing and celebrating your uniqueness. You are unlike anyone else in the world, and that is a beautiful thing. Your individuality, your strengths, talents, quirks, and even your vulnerabilities makes you who you are. Embrace your uniqueness and honor the qualities that make you special. Rather than comparing yourself to others or trying to fit into someone else's idea of success or worthiness, focus on what makes you feel fulfilled and authentic. Affirming your self-worth means standing tall in your individuality and knowing that you don't have to change who you are to be worthy of love and respect. It's also important to release the need for external validation when affirming your self-worth. While it's natural to want approval or recognition from others, relying on external validation to feel worthy can leave you in a constant state of seeking approval. True self-worth comes from within. It's about knowing your value independently of what others may think or say. When you affirm your self-worth, you no longer need others to confirm your value because you already know that you are enough. This inner confidence allows you to live authentically and make decisions that align with your own values and desires, rather than constantly seeking to meet others' expectations. Another key part of affirming your self-worth is taking responsibility for your happiness. When you recognize your worth, you understand that you are responsible for creating a life that brings you joy and fulfillment. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that challenges won't arise, but it does mean that you have the power to choose how you respond to those challenges. You are in control of your own well-being, and affirming your self-worth empowers you to make choices that support your happiness and personal growth. Ultimately, affirming your self-worth is a lifelong practice. It requires patience, self-awareness, and consistent effort to shift old patterns of thinking and embrace new ones. But the rewards are profound. When you affirm your self-worth, you cultivate a deep sense of confidence, peace, and self-acceptance. You free yourself from the need to constantly seek approval from others, and you begin to live in alignment with your true self. This sense of inner worthiness allows you to experience deeper, more meaningful relationships, greater fulfillment in your personal and professional life, and a stronger sense of resilience in the face of challenges. Affirming your self-worth is not about becoming someone different. It's about fully embracing who you already are. It's about standing in your power, knowing your value, and honoring yourself every step of the way. The idea that others complement but do not complete you is a vital realization in the journey towards self-awareness and fulfillment. It's a belief rooted in the understanding that you are already whole, already enough, just as you are. Many of us grow up with the romanticized notion that we need someone else to complete us, whether it's a partner, a friend, or a family member. We may be led to believe that our happiness, self-worth, or sense of purpose is dependent on another person. However, when you truly understand that you are complete on your own, you realize that others can enhance your life, but they are not responsible for your fulfillment or sense of self. The idea that others complement you shifts your perspective on relationships. Rather than looking for someone to fill a void or solve your problems, you approach relationships from a place of wholeness. You recognize that you are already enough, and any connection you form with another person is meant to add value to your life, not to complete something that is lacking. This perspective allows for healthier, more balanced relationships because you're not placing unrealistic expectations on others to meet all of your emotional or personal needs. Instead, you're able to share your life with others from a place of fullness where you both bring something valuable to the table. One of the reasons this idea is so empowering is because it helps you reclaim your own power. When you believe that someone else completes you, you give away your power to that person. You become dependent on their presence, their approval, or their love to feel whole. This can lead to feelings of insecurity, fear of abandonment, and the constant need for reassurance. However, when you understand that others compliment you, you take back that power. You recognize that your happiness, self-worth, and fulfillment are within your control, not someone else's. This shift in thinking allows you to approach relationships from a place of confidence and independence rather than neediness or fear. When you recognize that you are complete on your own, you become more discerning in your relationships. You no longer settle for connections that drain your energy or diminish your sense of self-worth. Instead, you seek out relationships that uplift you, support your growth, and align with your values. You are able to set healthy boundaries because you know that your well-being comes first. This doesn't mean you shut yourself off from others, but rather you are more intentional about the people you allow into your life. You understand that not everyone will complement your journey, and that's okay. By surrounding yourself with people who enhance your life, you create a circle of support that is nurturing and empowering. Another important aspect of recognizing that others compliment you is that it allows you to appreciate your own individuality. In relationships where we believe someone else completes us, we often lose ourselves in the process. We may sacrifice our own needs, desires, or identity to maintain the relationship, fearing that without the other person we won't be whole. However, when you understand that you are complete on your own, you are free to express your true self without fear of losing the relationship. You can maintain your individuality while still being deeply connected to others. This creates a relationship dynamic that is rooted in mutual respect and appreciation, where both people are free to be their authentic selves. This idea also encourages you to take responsibility for your own happiness and personal growth. When you believe that someone else completes you, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that they are responsible for your well-being. You may look to them to make you happy, solve your problems, or give your life meaning. But the truth is, no one else can do that for you. Your happiness and growth are your responsibility. Others can support you, inspire you, and encourage you, but ultimately you must do the inner work to create a fulfilling life. This realization empowers you to take charge of your own path and not rely on others to do the work for you. When you view others as complements to your life rather than as the missing pieces that complete you, you also open yourself up to deeper, more meaningful connections. You are no longer seeking relationships out of fear of being alone or incomplete. Instead, you seek relationships based on mutual growth, love, and shared experiences. You are able to give and receive love freely without the need for control or dependence. This creates a foundation for relationships that are healthy, balanced, and fulfilling. In essence, recognizing that others complement but do not complete you is a liberating mindset. It allows you to step into your own power, appreciate your wholeness, and build relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and support. You no longer seek external validation or fulfillment from others because you know that everything you need is already within you. Others may bring joy, love, and richness to your life, but they do not define your worth or your happiness. By embracing this truth, you create a life where you are complete, whole, and fulfilled with or without anyone else's presence. Relationships become a beautiful complement to your already full life rather than a necessity for your completeness. Empowering your inner self is a transformative journey that involves embracing who you are at your core. It's about tapping into your true essence, recognizing your strengths, and allowing your authentic self to shine through. In a world that often demands conformity and external validation, empowering your inner self is an act of rebellion against the limitations that society may impose. It invites you to cultivate self-awareness, self-love, and resilience, paving the way for a fulfilling and meaningful life. To begin this empowering journey, it's essential to cultivate self-awareness. This means taking the time to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, values, and beliefs. Understanding who you are is the foundation for empowerment. Ask yourself deep questions. What do I value most in life? What are my passions and interests? What makes me feel alive? By delving into these questions, you begin to uncover the layers of your identity. Journaling, meditation, or simply spending quiet time with yourself can facilitate this exploration. The more you know about yourself, the more empowered you become to make choices that align with your true self. Self-acceptance is another crucial aspect of empowering your inner self. Often we struggle with self-acceptance due to societal pressures or negative self-talk. We may focus on our perceived flaws or shortcomings, allowing these thoughts to define our self-worth. However, empowering your inner self requires embracing every part of you, including your imperfections. Understand that nobody is perfect, and it's our unique qualities and experiences that make us who we are. Celebrate your individuality and recognize that your differences are your strengths. When you practice self-acceptance, you cultivate a deep sense of inner peace and confidence, freeing yourself from the constraints of comparison. Affirmations can also play a vital role in empowering your inner self. Positive affirmations are statements that reinforce your self-worth and capabilities. By regularly affirming your strengths, talents, and worthiness, you shift your mindset from one of self-doubt to one of self-empowerment. Create a list of affirmations that resonate with you, such as I am capable of achieving my goals, I deserve love and respect, or I trust myself to make the right decisions. Repeat these affirmations daily, especially during moments of doubt or insecurity. Over time, they will become ingrained in your subconscious, helping you to develop a more positive self-image. Empowering your inner self also involves taking ownership of your choices and decisions. Life is a series of choices, and each choice you make shapes your reality. When you take responsibility for your decisions, you reclaim your power. This means acknowledging that you have the ability to create the life you desire. Avoid blaming external circumstances or other people for your situation. Instead, focus on what you can control: your actions, your thoughts, and your reactions. By adopting a proactive mindset, you empower yourself to overcome challenges and pursue your dreams. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is equally important in this journey. The people you associate with can significantly impact your sense of self-worth and empowerment. Seek out relationships that uplift and inspire you, those who encourage you to be your best self. Positive influences can come from friends, family, mentors, or even online communities that share your interests and values. Conversely, it's essential to distance yourself from toxic relationships that drain your energy or undermine your self-esteem. Surrounding yourself with supportive individuals creates an environment where your inner self can flourish. Practicing self-care is another crucial element of empowering your inner self. Self-care involves prioritizing your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. This can include regular exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient rest, and engaging in activities that bring you joy. Taking care of yourself sends a powerful message to your inner self that you are worthy of love and care. Additionally, self-care allows you to recharge and refocus, enabling you to approach challenges with clarity and confidence. Mindfulness is also an effective tool in empowering your inner self. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you develop a deeper connection with your inner self, allowing you to identify and address any negative patterns or limiting beliefs. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, or mindful walking can help cultivate this awareness. When you become more attuned to your inner self, you gain clarity on what truly matters to you, making it easier to align your actions with your values. Lastly, remember that empowerment is a continuous journey. It requires commitment, patience, and compassion. You may face setbacks along the way, but these challenges are opportunities for growth. Embrace them as part of your journey and use them to build resilience. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and be gentle with yourself during difficult times. Empowering your inner self is not a destination, but a lifelong process of self-discovery and growth. Ultimately, empowering your inner self is about honoring your authentic self and embracing your inherent worth. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing self-acceptance, affirming your strengths, taking ownership of your choices, surrounding yourself with positive influences, prioritizing self-care, and practicing mindfulness, you can unlock the power within you. When you empower your inner self, you create a life that reflects your true essence, filled with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. Embrace the journey and let your inner light shine brightly in the world.